Jerry. Yeah, what's up?
All right.
Joe, what's up?
We are live here at the Pocono Podcast Studio here in Stroudsburg,
What's up,
Pennsylvania. Pocono Sports Talk with a very special guest tonight, Mr. Mike Bamiro. Mike, how you doing today?
Thank you. Couldn't have asked for a better intro. I love it. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, AJ.
Yes, you know you are the man. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this to our folks who could watch live on Facebook.
Okay.
And as you know, I am not too tech savvy.
Yeah.
So, oh, look at that.
Yeah, you're gonna have reverb.
Yeah, so we do have reverb.
Man, you are not. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to be turning this off here in a second. So I do apologize. We do not have a engineer in the studio this morning or this evening.
We are an engineer.
Yeah.
Until we get big enough to get one. Am I right?
Yeah. So we're going to be our own engineer. Right. Thanks.
Of course.
Thanks, Mike.
Anytime.
Thanks. So again, welcome to the Pocono Podcast Studio with our special guest, the big Mike Bamiro. And I kind of like this because I'm watching the monitor and I actually almost look as tall as this man. But
I got to fix my seat. Man.
Yeah.
Well, you got me in the church lunchroom seat. You need to have something a little more comfy, a little more backrest.
Well, good. Right. Good. So when we're big enough, and in a bigger studio on the 50th floor down in New York City, you could actually talk about the time that you were in that lunch lady seat
into existence.
Yes. So we have got so much to talk about tonight with Mike. He's got one heck of a story. I'm sure I've known him now for about 4 years, but I'm sure I'm going to find out a lot more that I'm not aware of. But let's start, Mike, about your early years. Tell the folks where you're from, where you grew up, where you went to high school, middle school.
Yeah, I will. I mean, it's just nothing that it really has been 4 years since I came into your gym when you legit had jiu-jitsu mats.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were sparring in socks, so we weren't getting the shoes on the mats.
That's right.
Man, it's been a long time.
It has.
But yeah, I'll start off then. I'm born in New York. Yeah. I had no rhythm, no sort of technique whatsoever to fight, but we'll get to that. I grew up in Long Island, Central Islip, shout out CI. Yeah, that's where it all started. I moved up here 2004, 2003. Went to high school at Pocono Mountain West High School. Love it. Loved my school. Played football. Wasn't good. That's just the way it works sometimes. I mean, you could be as big as you want, but in high school, if you don't know how to use it, you don't know how to play, you're not going to be good. But I did well enough to get by my senior year. My senior year, we won our championship. But I've always had a drive to sort of compete. My two older brothers, they competed at Stony Brook University around that time. My older brother, Dave, he's the oldest. He played football at Stony Brook. My second oldest, Simon, he played basketball at Stony Brook as well, too. And that's kind of where the drive began for me when I was younger.
Right. I'm still trying to figure out how you can't be good at football when you're 6'10", 300 pounds.
You say that, it's funny, but there are probably tons of high school kids who feel the same way no matter what. If it's not in you at the time, it's not in you. I feel like God always finds a way to lead you in that direction whenever that time comes. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't really care for it. I was lazy. I wanted to just hang out, have fun, and just do stuff that I like to do. I like to debate at the time.
Right.
I was more into doing high school debate than I was into football at that time. But, I mean, hey, I don't know what happened, but something flipped my senior year where I was like, wait, hold on, I can actually be pretty good at this.
Right. So we'll talk about the whole debating and everything like that. But
sure.
I mean, if you go ahead and just Google search Mike Bamiro and click under images, you'll see, like the average size of a NFL lineman is probably about 6'4".
No, it's not.
Oh, you're right. Man, don't lie.
Changed.
I seen the photo.
My God, that's changed. Listen, when I was in Philly, there were my second year in Philly, there were two guys taller than me. I was surrounded.
Wow.
There were like two or three guys taller than me.
I do like to think that you were the biggest man ever to step foot on an NFL field. All right.
I get it.
Let me still
feel that way.
Yes,
that's fine. That's fine. You can say that.
Thank you.
I'll live with it.
Yes. So Tell us about your family. Your folks. Where are they from?
So my parents are native Nigerian. They immigrated to the U.S. in 1980. Worked, got associate degrees. Raised 4 amazing children. Shout out to my brothers and my sisters. My 2 older brothers, David, Salma, my sister Helen.
So you have 4 siblings?
I have 3 siblings.
Well, you said they raised 4 amazing.
He's got jokes.
You didn't catch that.
He's got jokes.
Yes.
No. Don't play me. I'm an upstanding citizen.
No, you are. You're
Check
amazing.
your local enterprise.
You are amazing. So go ahead.
But yeah, the one thing that they instilled in us is to work for what you want. My parents never rested. My dad, God bless him. I love my dad every day because I know how hard he worked and how hard my mother worked as well too. There were nights my dad wouldn't come home because he's driving taxis just to make sure that he took care of his kids. So, in me, I see that. I've known that if you want something, you got to be able to work dog harder than the guy next to you.
Absolutely.
You might not get the results immediately, but no matter what, even if you lose, you don't lose. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and it's going to come to you eventually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You were made to be a professional something. A professional athlete.
Something.
A professional athlete.
I'm just glad I got a profession so I can eat.
Yes. So you were talking. You really didn't get focused or committed to football until your senior year, and you touched on your debating. Why don't you tell us a little bit about?
So when I was in high school, I don't know what it was, but there was this thing about oratory debates and doing speeches and forensics, and I did my first competition, of course, for Martin Luther King Jr. It was a competition just reading off his speeches as passionately as you possibly could, and I won.
Nice.
So that stuck with me, So all through high school, that's what I did. I competed in that, man. I freaking loved it. I kept doing it, did it over and over again, and I don't know. It didn't hit me till just about now that in my nature, as long as I win at something, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I keep winning.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. My favorite quote is, "I hate to lose more than I love to win." Because the thing is when you win, you basically the next day or two you forget about it. When you lose, that doesn't leave you.
Never.
It never leaves you.
Never leaves
Yes.
you. Never leaves you. That's probably why I stuck around boxing.
Yeah.
Probably why I kept coming back. Probably why I kept showing up.
Yeah.
Because that first sparring was rough.
Oh, yeah.
My first sparring session, I got jaw rocked by guys more than half less my size. You know what I mean?
And I apologize for that, Mike.
It's all right.
Yeah,
That's how you gotta learn. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
For boxing, not for everyone, it's always an easy way to just jump in. But sometimes you have to throw people in the fire. And you guys tested me. Y'all wanted to see if I was gonna stick around and keep doing it, or if I was just a fitness guy.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Definitely. And it was amazing from the first day. And we're gonna touch on the boxing a lot more, but it was amazing from the first day that you walked into this boxing gym. Ducked underneath the doorway to get in.
Yeah.
And I'm busting his.
It was a short
stuff.
one. It was a short doorway. 2, it wasn't finished. So as much as you want to make these jokes, it was still showing what to do.
I know. So Mike comes in, and he's just a very large man, and we'll be walking down the street, and people are just like looking at him because they know that this man is something. He's just not your average guy walking down the street. He's a professional something.
He's a professional something. I'm gonna put that on my next post.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
Something.
God did not make this human being, to just be a salesman or to be, flipping burgers. You were put on this earth to do something great, and that's what you're doing. You're doing a lot of great things, and we have so much to talk.
That. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I bust your chops, but I love you, man.
I love you too.
Yeah. So, after high school, why don't you talk? You graduate high school.
Yeah.
What's next?
So I graduated high school in typical Mike fashion. I'm scrambling to get everything done last minute. Did not have a school pick till probably like the month before.
Oh, wow.
Selected Pittsburgh Titusville, small school in the middle of nowhere near Pittsburgh. I go there for the first semester, make a lot of great friends, meet a lot of great people. But, I knew I wasn't fulfilled. I'll never forget. I was in one of my friend's rooms watching Pittsburgh play. And it's so funny because it's ironic. I was watching Shady play for the Pittsburgh Panthers at the time, which was their college team. And in my head, I'm like, man, why am I not playing football?
Yeah.
we did so well my senior year. Why am I not playing football? Why couldn't I play football somewhere? So, after that semester, I begged and called my brother. I'm like, Dave, what can you do for me? And mind you, by then, I put on like a gross amount of weight
Really?
from doing nothing.
Yeah.
The more after college, the more I realized, man, when you don't play football, there's just so much free time to eat, just sit around, do nothing. And that's what it did. So I got heavy. So Dave came through. I talked to his old coach who was working, with the alumni department at the school, who talked to Coach P. And I'll never forget, Coach P looked at me when I came into the building to go talk to him, and he goes, "You got bigger."
Yeah.
Right? I love Coach P. He's straightforward. He never pulled no punches. He said what he said was on his mind. He said it straight to your face. He said it in front of your family. He did not care.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, and he was like, we'll give him a chance. We'll let him walk on. And been history since then at Stony Brook. That first year I redshirted, which unbeknownst to me, which we'll get to later, which is a big part for what happened in my story, me redshirting that year and sitting out. But I sat out that year. I took that time. I trained. I grew to love training. I grew to look at training as like a challenge to get better. How can I get better this time? How can I squat like them? Why can't I squat like them? Why can't I bench like them? Why can't I move my feet like the way those guys move who were playing before me? To the point where it became an obsession. As much time as they put you in the gym or on the field, I wanted more just to get better. And, Lord willing, thank God I did. I got better. The second year, things shook up for me where they needed somebody to step up for the right tackle spot. They ran through a couple guys. They knew I'd be the fit. I fit well. I had my first season, typical first season of football, which it is what it is. You're gonna get your loves, but you're also gonna get some good plays in.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Now, what position were you playing?
I was playing right tackle.
Okay.
Playing right tackle, and of course, my first game is on TV against South Florida, ranked top 20 in the country in 1A, and we're 1AA. Right. So that'd be like, how can I explain that? That's the difference between King's College and
Penn State.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what it was. So we go there, 35,000 people just screaming. We start the ball up from the 20-yard line. I can't hear nothing from the guy left to me to the guy right to me. And that's my first game. And
so what happened?
What happened? We got smoked. That's what happened. We got stomped on. I mean, South Florida was South Florida. They had B.J. Daniels. They just had Jason Pierre-Paul graduate. They had a lot of studs on that team. But we got beat. But, I'll tell you what. We were definitely, within that 3 years that I was there, we were definitely one of the best football teams to come out of Stony Brook University. Nice. 4 conference titles, a couple NFL appearances, All-American nods. I got my All-American nod.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was a great time at Stony Brook, and I love it. Cherish every moment I'm at. Made a lot of great friends, a lot of family members. Shout out my boy Dom, who's fighting, another Stony Brook alumni. Always. So
nice, and we'll get to that.
Later.
Of course. So, you had a successful college career.
Yeah.
Did you go into the draft?
I did not. It's so funny that you asked that. So I feel like this has always been one of the big questions that's always asked of me and of how my situation played out. So let me just give you the full details so that you have the whole scoop of what happened. So sitting out my first year, little did I know, was not allowed. Only because when I went to University of Pittsburgh at Titusville, being a full-time student, whether I was a fat, lazy sack of nothing, doing nothing or not, it exhausted a bit of eligibility. Little did I know. Even if I didn't compete in the sport, since they knew I was a full-time student, they counted that towards my eligibility. So here I am thinking this is my 4th year. This is my last year to play at Stony Brook, and I just got voted captain. And I've been training to play college football the entire year. So through the whole draft process, through the whole spring training, summer training camps, I'm training to play college football.
Right.
I'm training to be a college football player. June hits, and in the middle of June, players who are taking summer classes, we get a stipend.
Right.
We get a stipend money just to stay on campus, which I utilize every time. I never wanted to go home. I wanted to keep training.
Right.
And when I came in to get my stipend, the athletic advisor who was working that, and I don't remember his name, looked at me and said, I actually thought you were leaving.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I go, leave? I just got voted captain. I'm ready to play another season. What are you talking about? He said, oh, well, they're saying eligibility exhausted. I said, who's saying exhausted? I was planning to play another year of football.
Right.
And he said, okay, well, we got to see what we got to do. We're going to talk to people. And this process, like, my mind's in a fog. Well, not in a fog, technically, because in my mind, I'm like, well, this is going to work out. I'm fine. Like, they're going to fix this because that doesn't make no sense. I only played 3 years of college football. Right. I'm due another year. As the weeks go on, it becomes more serious. It becomes, what do you think would be your other options? What would you do? And in my mind, I'm like, other options? What other options? I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. And I'll never forget. And, I feel like I'm indebted him to this day. Jason Severco, he was working at University of Hawaii. I think he's in Washington State now. The last time I checked, he was the only person that legitimately just kept it real with me. He sat me in his office, closed the door, and he looked at me. He goes, Mike, I'll be real with you. I've seen the situation before. I've never seen it go out on the good end on your favor.
Wow.
I'll be honest with you. If I were you, I'd go. And this is last week in June, early July.
Right.
So draft is done.
Right.
Supplemental draft is done.
Wow.
Spring tryouts are done. Teams, NFL teams that kind of already had who they wanted to be their core guys picked.
Yeah.
Because April, May, and June, they're kind of looking through, they're ciphering new guys in and out over and over again. By this time, they're like, all right, these are our guys. These are going to be our developmental guys. We kind of got rid of the guys we don't want. We're going to bring our next developmental guys in for the summer in August.
Right.
They're not really looking at adding in people who they've never seen work in August. So I had to make the decision to leave my school. And in that time frame, man, I was heartbroken.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was heartbroken. I thought I had everything lined up. Just when you think you have a plan, God always shows you that you don't know what the plan. You don't know what your plan is.
No.
I thought I had it easy. I'm like, we got one more year. We're going to the CAA. We're defending champs. We're gonna smoke whoever's in front of us. I can't wait to lead my team. No, you think you have your plan. God makes that plan for you.
Right.
So I leave. Within about 2 weeks, I had to find an agent, start training.
So did you finish up school? Did you get a degree?
I graduated. Well, I graduated the year before.
Oh, okay.
So I had already graduated. I'm in grad school at this point.
Okay.
So I'm
what
in grad
was your
school at this
major?
point. Journalism.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
At this point, I'd already graduated. So leaving wouldn't have been that big of an issue because I'd already walked. My parents seen that. They cried, oh, we love each other.
Yeah.
This, that, and the third. But that part was very difficult because I had no direction.
Right.
I'm taking this step alone. I'm taking this leap alone into being a professional football player. Right. I have to choose who I should trust with my career, alone. Nothing, my parents, what would they know about this? What would anyone else know about this? Right. Everybody that I do know is in the middle of preparing for a football season. So like I said, I'm in this alone. So in that process, I get with the management team, I get with EAS, they help me get training with, my big homie to this day. I wish I talked to him more, Big Trey. He trains me at his facility, 7 Do Sports, and he put me through the ringer for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. He got me prepared. Well, he got me as best prepared as I possibly could within 2 weeks for NFL.
Right.
And lucky enough, my size, my playing that I did in college in the time being, because I was projected to actually get drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round, right, just from how I did at Stony Brook. My ability and from how I played already garnered me enough energy through the NFL that when I came out, that teams were already kind of looking at me for what they wanted as a player.
We couldn't miss you. You know what I mean?
There's a bunch of guys like that, but they garnered enough interest that I had a good amount of teams come show up for a small workout at his gym, and then I got picked up.
That's awesome. And who picked you up first?
So the Philadelphia Eagles picked me up first. That was my first home.
Right.
That was my first home. Yes.
So why don't you tell us about the experience? Because being from Pennsylvania, living in Pennsylvania at the time, I guess, you could basically call Philadelphia hometown.
Heck yeah.
Well,
how much luckier could I get? Philly was 2 hours from Stony Brook. It was 2 hours from my house. Go home whenever I wanted. I could go there whenever I wanted, but I was always within reach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Being in Philadelphia. But it was amazing. Is what it is. I grew up a Giants fan. That's the story of my life. Grew up a Giants fan, but I grew to love it. But I loved Philadelphia, man. I'll tell you right now, the organization, the players, the culture there. It was the one thing I always preach about Philly. You could feel in that room when I was there that these were guys like, whether I'm here or not, this team is gonna win that. This team is gonna win a Super Bowl. Like they were bought in. They were so bought in when I got there, and it was just hard to try to match that because I wasn't there with them during that time frame when I first got there. They had already kind of built what they wanted from earlier on. I'm just trying to jump in and catch on.
Right. And the most amazing thing, maybe your time in Philly, and we'll touch on this in a little bit, because Philly's a huge boxing town. Maybe you got some of that water that you drank, put that in your body. Then what happens is you sign with the Giants.
Yeah. So after a year and a half in Philadelphia, I got released my second training camp, and I got picked up by the Giants. And my time with New York was great as well too. Mid-season, got picked up. I enjoyed that time there. Made a lot of great friends. Learned a lot. Met a lot of my heroes. I mean, as a kid who grew up watching Eli going to both, Super Bowl parades. Yeah. It's surreal just saying, I'm his teammate.
that's awesome. Some great experiences.
Like no matter what, I'm always a fan first. So just being there, I was like, oh my God, this is real.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I wish I knew you during those years, because I would have been your biggest fan. You know what I mean? I love seeing someone local, become successfple. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
How did you start boxing? I mean, you go from one extreme almost to another extreme. I mean, you're still hitting people and stuff like that, but now you're going from a team sport to an individual sport.
So I got into boxing. Shout out to Macho.
Camacho?
My guy. No, Macho. No.
Rest in
Alex
peace.
Barbosa.
Oh, okay.
My guy Macho. He runs the TKO Fitness Gym in Cherry Hill in New Jersey. He gave me my first pair of gloves because I went to their gym just so that I could train to get my hands right. Mind you, I'm still living. I just got released from Philly. I'm training in between, and one thing trainers always said was you got to work on your hands, get your hands right. Maybe take up boxing, karate. So I took up boxing. So screw it. And Macho, train me well. I mean, for a guy his size, the more I think about it, man, he was holding mitts for me.
Well, I got a picture of him saying, if you ever saw the size of Mike's hand, he's probably like, I wonder if they make a boxing glove that'll fit this guy. Let's just show everybody.
They never will.
Look at this.
And I got to fight in Golden Gloves.
Look at the size.
So
I have an average size hand. You know what I mean? That's absolutely amazing. You know what I mean?
Story of my life.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, he shakes my arm. Like when we meet each other, it's not a handshake; it's an arm shake.
Yeah, whatever.
What I mean? And I'm in the ER.
I should
tore out my rotator cuff. So tell us about Mr. Macho.
Tell him about the time when we sparred.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that. After the camera's off.
And you thought you were nice. Oh, he thought AJ was like, I'm Mr. MMA. I got this guy. I know the one hit to put the big guy down, and man, never works out that way, baby. Never works out that way. But I told Macho. So Macho trained me, gave me my first pair of gloves, and after I left Philly, went back home. I figured, hey, why not keep putting them to use, keep training, keep fighting with them, and I go to the Pocono gym. Well, the former Pocono gym. They shut down since. In 2016, like early November, and I'm training there, hitting the bag, and I see a bunch of guys in the ring, sparring, hitting mitts, and this is when I met Dave Vasquez.
Okay, yeah.
He comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, you box?" And I'm like, "No, I just train." And he's like, "Well, come on, you want me to do mitts with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And Dave was at the time, he was super gracious, super courteous, was awesome. Took me in. Held mitts for me. He was the first guy that legit, put honestly the fight in me to do this at the time. And in the ring there was, Lamont, Jesse Jr., Jesse Sr., other guys.
They probably don't know who they are. Lamont is a professional fighter. He was one-time ranked 10 in the country. Jesse Sr. Has been fighting for forever. He actually fought Tay Wilder.
Yep.
A couple other big names. And Jesse Jr. is going to be making his pro debut on Chris Coyne's card on April 11th of this year in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So now that you're introduced to them guys,
Yeah.
So
those guys, their chemistry and the fact that they accepted me, they brought me in. It built the fight heart within me. Like it made me feel like this is something that I should do. Like why not? Why not give it a shot? I'm athletic. I'm young. I'm hungry. I need something to do. Every man should have a purpose. Every man should have a vision. That's something that they can look forward to. And boxing gave me that vision. Boxing gave me a purpose and something to strive for. It gave me an end game. And I'm loving where it's going right now because I don't see a ceiling. I don't see an end to it. I see just to keep going and keep fighting and see where else it can take me, where God will lead me, more importantly. But they introduced me, they taught me. They taught me as much as they can. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And it's been history since then.
Yeah. And in the short time that Mike has been fighting, last year he was Pennsylvania State Golden Gloves champion. So it was a, very exciting time for Mike, for the MMA Signatures Academy gym.
Of course.
Yes. And what's your current record, Mike?
My current record is 7-0.
7-0.
Check my fight page at Ferrari Mike _official. Just went up today. Please just give it a look.
So the nickname Ferrari, where does that come from?
I'm so glad you asked. So just to get this out the way. Now, as an offensive lineman, especially in college, especially at a Division I AA college, offensive linemen are not looked at, man. We're not glorified. We're not going to be on your booklets. We're not going to be on your poster boards. We're not going to be the guy to get their big highlights put on film. Right. So myself and my best friend Scotty, we'd hang around each other every day. We damn near listen to the same music. We ate the same food all the time. And in our minds, we were like, yo, why don't we just make a set for ourselves? And I said, yeah, why not? Mm-hmm. We already have a cool handshake. We had a cool handshake before every game. So why don't we make a set for ourselves? And I said, what were you thinking? And at the time, this one song that kept playing in our heads was Gucci Mane and Waka Flocka. It was called Ferrari Boys.
Oh, okay.
And one of the lines in the song is "Get out my lane." Oh, Ferrari nice. Boys.
Nice.
And in my mind, that's like, hey, I love that because at the end of the day, what is our job as the offensive line? Get these fools out the run lane.
Yes.
So as corny as it looked, and everyone cracked on us for it, we made T-shirts, we made posts. Me and Scotty were the Ferrari Boys, and I'm taking that with me to this day. So that's where Ferrari Mike came from. I know it may seem corny and look corny, but it meant a lot to me at the time but it made it fun for us. So right. I felt like carrying that over into boxing.
Thank God they weren't the Dodge Caravan Boys, huh?
Nah, a better one. One of our teammates, Cody, was like, "Oh yeah, well then we'll be the Prius Boys."
Nice. So, we have a couple questions that folks, sent Mike messages.
Definitely.
And, awesome. we definitely want to answer some of these.
My support system, all of you guys that have been posting and saying what's up, man. I love you guys. I love you, cousin Teju. My boy. Oh yeah, my boy Geddes. What's up, big guy? I love you, man. I love all you guys that have shown me support, that have liked, that have joined, that have followed my page, man. Trust me, the love it's overwhelming, and I'm truly blessed to have all of you in my life still to this day, no matter what, man. I can never be mistaken for anything else, and I truly love it. Thank you, guys.
Nice. But before we get into the questions, right? And what's your goals for this year with boxing?
My goals for this year, I want to win open again. I want to win open again. I want to win open this year. I won novice last year for Golden Gloves. I want to win open this year. I want to make it to nationals. I'm hearing some weird things about nationals. I'll probably touch on that next time we get on here, but I want to make nationals. My big goal has been the Olympics. I know I missed the qualifiers for this coming up one, but as long as I can stay on it, man, I would love to do nothing better than to, represent my country.
Right.
Right. At the Olympic stage and win that. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
You. Love you too, Danny.
Any plans on going pro? Boxing?
We'll see.
Nice.
We'll see.
Nice.
We'll see.
So Mr. Bamiro here is a huge MMA fan as well. If there was I'm sure if there was a super heavyweight division in MMA, he would probably even try something like that, but thank God, for a lot of these heavyweights in MMA, it only goes up to 265.
Thank God for me too. Listen, I don't know. I've told you
your
AJ,
bones weigh 265 pounds.
Listen,
Mike.
I've told you in private, I'm not doing anything when someone can kick me.
Right.
I'm good. My knees have been through enough. They don't have to worry about that stress. Yeah. All right. It used to hurt at a certain point to even get in a football stance when I was still playing. Yeah. So I'm good with the kicks.
Let me tell you a story, and you touched on it a little while ago. I saw Mike train from basically almost day one, and this is like 6 months into his training. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna knock this big dude out. I watched Mike. He's a southpaw, right? So I knew exactly what this man did every time. He would throw out this long jab, right? So I pictured the whole thing happening. He was going to throw out this long jab. I was going to roll underneath the jab, hit him with the left hook. He was going to go down, and I was going to left.
End of the day.
I already had it pictured in my mind.
Night's done.
Right? So we say, okay, we're going to spar, right? So you say, okay, we're only going to go 50%. Okay, yeah, Mike, we'll go 50%. Now, in my mind, I'm going 150%. I was hoping in his mind he was going to go like 25%.
From what I've learned already from any sparring, no one goes 50%.
No, 50% lasted until that first punch is thrown.
You threw one big hook, and I felt the wind woof by me. I said, all right, this is real. Yeah. I was already prepared.
So I'm pretty confident in my hands, So I saw this. I visioned it. I saw it from the start to the finish. It happened perfect. He throws out this long, jab, his right jab. I roll underneath it, and I see his chin, and it's right there. It's huge. So I get ready to hit him with the left hook. Next thing you know, I'm basically paralyzed. This man with these big fists come down on my liver like it was a Mack truck. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And I just stood there, and he looked at me and he said, "Are we done?" And that meant yes. That meant, yeah, we're done.
Well, you tried to get him at first, and you still going, and you were like, "Oh, my time out."
Yeah. So, maybe one day we could replay it, but it'll be, when you're like 60 and I'm, 68
in the grave.
Yeah, probably. So Mike is a big MMA fan. I almost
huge. I almost knocked my phone off. I'm live.
I know. So, and he went to Stony Brook with somebody who's fighting the current light heavyweight champion this week.
Shout out Dom.
Mr. Dominic Reyes.
Shout out the Devastator.
Tell us about your relationship with Dom. You played football with him, huh?
Yeah, we played all 4 years together. Myself and Dom. We redshirted the same year, and we won our championships together. Man, he was a great person, great human being. But we knew in him from his already lineage that he was gonna fight, man. He was a fighter. He was gonna do that. That's what he did. And me and Scotty talk about all the time. We're like, the one thing we remember is we'd always go to Hooters and watch these fights and be like, "Yo, Dom, you're gonna be up there." How guys hype each other up, and but we felt it. That's what he wanted to do, and it's just, I'm just blessed to know that I'm watching it. I'm blessed to be able to watch him go through that. So I'm happy for him.
That's awesome, and he's had a great career so far. He's undefeated.
Yes, he is.
He's got this title shot coming up this Saturday against John Jones.
Yep.
Of course, I won't even ask you your prediction.
I don't give him.
Yeah. But
don't do it.
Being that he's friends with you, of course, us here at the gym will be rooting for him as well. You know what I mean?
Glad to hear
yes.
that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So let's get to a couple of these questions that we have.
Sweet.
Yes. Somebody had asked, what's your prediction? And I know that you don't give predictions, but what do you?
No, I don't give predictions for friends.
Oh, okay, cool. So who do you see winning out of Tony and Khabib and
that's from Brian. Brian Merriweather. Brian versus Khabib. Shout out Brian. Amazing photography.
He is amazing.
What's going on? Man, I see you, Ralphie boy.
We'll have to get Brian in here one time.
Yeah, we will. Great videographer. Tony versus Khabib. I'm gonna go Khabib. I know everybody wants to see Tony. I feel like Tony likes putting himself in deep waters too much, and I think that might be the one time he won't be able to get out.
Yeah, Khabib is.
I like Khabib a lot for that fight.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
How about some of the lessons that you've learned in football that's helped you with boxing?
So, and that's from Brian as well too. The lessons that I've learned from pro football, there's so many. One of the big ones is preparation is key. The thing that I learned that carried over from college to the NFL is that the preparation time and the amount of effort that's put into it, man, is a huge leap. It's leaps and bounds different. You're watching film at 7, you're watching film at 9, you're on the field at 10 to 12, you're watching film at 1, you get to eat, you watch film at 5. Preparation is key. So one of the big things that I always carry with it, even in regards to amateur fights, because I know a lot of boxers say to themselves, "No, this is just the amateurs. I'll pick up and go anywhere," which I'm fine with. But mentally, I'm preparing for that fight wholeheartedly. The entire month and 2 months before, as if I'm preparing for a world title fight or whatever it may be, because that's how important it has to be looked at. Leading up to fights is the most important time, no matter what. So I never take that lightly. That's one of the biggest lessons I've taken from football. And I even carry it to my work. No matter what I do, that my preparation has to be that top-notch, has to be that dedicated so that I'm that step ahead, that nothing surprises me. When you'd be at practice, they'd run the same play 6 times against 12 different defenses.
Right.
Just to make sure that if this happens, if that happens, if this happens, their tendency is this on the 3rd down, their tendency is that in 2nd down, their tendency is this on 25-yard line, away from their goal line. What can happen if we run this play?
Right.
Why would we want to run this play? We're going to run that play. So that's where my mind is, for preparation for boxing. Whether it's a solo sport or not, I am my team. I've always been my team. So no matter what, I'm preparing as if I got to get myself, my team, ready for that fight when it comes.
Right. Makes sense. And another question that came in is the biggest challenge going from a team sport, and we touched on this, to an individual sport. And you've already basically answered that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not really a challenge. It's more of a, you got to take ownership. Now it's on you. In a team sport, sometimes it can happen to somebody else. It can be somebody else's fault for why you lose. It can be somebody else's fault for why this didn't go that way. Now it's on you. You step in there and you got to make game time decisions for yourself. You can't look for somebody else to save that play. There's no star running back, no star receiver to save that play. You got to throw that right punch. You got to block when that one is coming and throw your 1-2 to counter back. You got to be able to move your feet and move. You got to be able to gather yourself when you think you're tired to come back and win that fight.
And it is basically, boxing is a team sport. You're just the representative of the team.
Exactly.
Out there.
So it's never, So that's why I said I never look at it any different.
Right.
At the end of the day, you have your trainer. That's the coach.
Right.
At the end of the day. But now it's just like, hey, you got to lean on yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get yourself and get your mind right for that.
Right. The last question that we had sent in was, how much faster is it going from college to the NFL?
Okay, got that. That one's from Robinson. Shout out Robinson. The speed difference, and I'll never forget this day. So my first practice in the NFL, it was the summer in August in Philadelphia, and we were doing 9-on-9. Not 9-on-9. We were doing team. That's our first team period, with just shells on, just shoulder pads and shorts.
Who was the quarterback at the time down there? Was it Vic?
It was they were competing between Vic and Nick Foles.
Oh, okay.
At the time, they were both going back and forth. They had Foles running Vic at quarterback for this play, and it was just a pass play, simple pass play. And I'm on the sideline just chilling, like, oh, this is football. And then right by me, just Sean Jackson just sprinted on a fade, gone. And like in my mind, I'm like, wow, that was the fastest person I've ever seen run in front of me in my life. And I was like, yo, this is not a game. This is a different sport.
Oh yeah,
this is different than when I was playing college. These guys were fast.
Yeah.
And they're all this fast.
Yeah, because these are all the best of the best from college teams. Now all on one team.
I'm glad you took my phrase that I told you before we started.
I know he did tell me that. That's why
you stole my phrase. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. That's not really a phrase.
Well, it's not really a phrase, but you didn't think of it.
I would have.
I did.
Oh, come on.
I thought of
Give me some credit.
You get a lot of credit. This gym is amazing. This podcast platform is amazing for the guys that you promote on here. Honestly, you do a lot.
I didn't mean credit like that. I'm still back on the phrase.
You're not creative enough to think of that.
Phrase. I would have thought of it.
No, you wouldn't have. Not a chance.
I know. Before we end the show tonight, Mike, one thing I thank you so much for coming in. I love hearing your story. I consider you family. I spend a lot of time with you, birthday parties, holidays, everything. So it's an honor to call you a friend. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Yeah, man.
What do you want to tell these folks? Take as long as you want.
Sure.
Shout outs.
Sure, man. I just want to tell them, first off, I want to shout out my family at home. My beautiful and amazing fiance, baby boy DJ. I want to tell them, follow me on this journey. In all honesty, I finally found a lot of fun in competing again. At the time, I didn't view football the way I should have viewed it. I was stressed and I was tired and I was young, very young. And I don't give myself enough credit for what I went through, only because at the time and to this day now, I look at it as, something that I lost. That I didn't do it, when in reality, I did better than what a lot of people would have thought for me at the time that I would have. And this journey is, a culmination of everything that I've learned through life. Taking up boxing is a big part for what's given me push, what's given me, life, a lot of life in what I do and a lot of joy in what I do. Ferrari Mike official, get out of our lane. We're a movement, we're going to move and we're going to make moves. And in all honesty, AJ, I want to, thank you. I don't think you get enough appreciation from the people that come in here, man. You're an open book to everyone. Your hands are always open to everyone that walks in that door. I really think, especially people like you don't come very often. There are a lot of people in that gym right now that wouldn't really find a place like this to call home, but you've made it for that way for them. You made it that way for myself. You've given me somewhere to compete. You've given me hope. You've given me a lot of joy for here. So I'm really thankful for you as a person.
I appreciate that.
I
You're
appreciate
the man,
you.
You're the man. But,
I try to be.
I don't like compliments too much. So if I'm red and everything, I apologize.
No, you're good.
How can people find you on social media?
On my social media, you can find me on my new page, Ferrari Mike _official. That's the new fight page. Anything fight related, anything of that, I'm going to be posting on there from here on, man. I'm just having so much fun. I'm having too much fun with this. I'm so blessed and truly highly favored, and I can't wait to keep going. I can't wait to keep enjoying what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
He's got fights coming up. Check him out on his social media pages. It's been an honor to have Mr. Mike Bamiro here on the show, and looking forward to having you back again, bud.
Always. Thank you. This is going to be big. Trust me, we'll be here for more stuff, AJ. I know. Because I know you like talking sports.
I do.
I like talking fights.
Yeah.
Who do you got for Khabib and Tony?
Oh, I love Khabib. I think Khabib is the man. Even though Tony's so much, he's very diverse as a fighter.
Of course.
You never know what's coming. I think Conor stole that shoulder thing
off
of Tony.
True. That is true. A lot of people know that. That is true.
But I think once Khabib gets a hold of you, you're it's good night.
True.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wilder Fury too.
I got to go with Wilder. I do think on the first fight, I think 10 out of 10 referees, when Wilder hit the floor,
you mean
the second
Fury.
time, or Fury hit the floor the second time, his eyes were rolled back in the back of his head. 10 out of 10 referees would have called
the fight
at that time. Some undertaking. What was the guy's name that used to carry around the
Paul Bearer?
Paul Bearer.
Brought him back to life.
Yes, this man gets up. But usually the ref would have stopped it at that point.
Of course.
Flat on his back. So I think once technical, I think Fury's a better fighter.
Yeah.
Power, Deontay's the man.
I think Wilder is technical. I feel like he's gotten so strong.
Yeah.
It just feels like he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Like when you watch some of his earlier fights, I remember watching his first Burley and Stavern fight. That was when I was living in Jersey. I was like, wow, this guy's good.
Yeah.
You know, he was long, he worked from length, he worked from reach. Now he's just like, man, they're all just so scared that when I hit him that they're just gonna stand still and take this hard hit.
Yeah.
And they're gonna hit the mat. And I feel like he's just gotten so confident, so good at it that it's just become a death shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I'm going Wilder.
Even that last fight against Ortiz, Deontay was losing that fight.
Yeah.
He caught him with one shot.
That's all it takes.
Good night. Good night.
What's up? What's up, Frank? That's all it takes. That's all it ever takes.
All right. Anything else for the folks?
Anything else? Enjoy yourself, man. Yeah. Have fun. Have fun with all this.
That's right.
Take it in stride, no matter what everybody ever says or about what you're doing, if they support it or not. Have fun. I spent so much time not having fun that I'm glad I get to enjoy it now. I'm thankful. Yeah. Thank God. I think he put me here for a reason. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely put you here for a reason.
Thank you.
But if you want to be a guest on Pocono Sports Talk, hit us up at mmasignatures@gmail.com, or you could call 570-872-1444. We're going to be here Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m., live podcasts.
Sick.
Local
Appreciate that, Gerald.
Stroudsburg, Monroe County, surrounding counties. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a football player, baseball player, wrestler, lacrosse, baseball, anything. We'd love to have you on the show. Again, mmasignatures@gmail.com, or you could call 570-872-1444. One last time, Mike, tell them how they could reach you.
They can reach follow you. Ferrari Mike _official. That's the handle. Come see me. Enjoy it. Have fun. And join me on this ride, baby. Let's do it.
Nice.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared, homie. Right?
Yeah. Oh, don't be scared, homie.
Good night.
Good night.